The Galactic Trial. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was larger than anything most humans had ever seen. It was built from black stone and shining crystal, tall enough that entire ships could have fit inside. Floating lights burned in the air, casting colors across the walls. Thousands of seats shaped for hundreds of alien species rose in circles around the center stage, and at the center stood a small group of humans. They looked fragile compared to the massive creatures around them. Some aliens had scales, some had wings, some floated on fields of energy. Many had been traveling through the stars for thousands of years. Humanity was the youngest race here, and yet, today, all eyes were on Earth. A booming voice filled the chamber. It came from the high speaker, a tall alien with skin like glass and a head that glowed with blue fire. "Today," the speaker said, "we judge the world called Earth. We judge the humans." The words spread like thunder through the hall. For weeks, whispers had already circled through the galaxy. Humans were dangerous. Humans were reckless. They invented weapons faster than anyone else. They fought wars with passion and fury, and now, the galaxy feared what they might become. One by one, representatives of alien species rose to speak. A scaled creature from the Drath Empire slammed its tail on the ground. "Humans cannot be trusted. Already they spread too quickly. Already they build machines of war. If we allow them to grow, soon the galaxy will burn." Another alien, a floating being made of smoke, hissed from its seat. "They dream of conquest. Even when offered peace, they fight. They fight each other, and they will fight us." The chamber rumbled with agreement. In the center, the humans stood silent. Their leader, a woman named Ambassador Carter, held her hands behind her back. Her face showed no fear, though inside her heart beat fast. She knew the truth. The galaxy had already decided. Still, she raised her voice. "Humanity is not what you believe," she said. Her words echoed softly but strong. "Yes, we fight, but we also build. We love, we dream. We reach for the stars not only to conquer but to learn. You judge us for our strength, but our strength is also our hope." Some aliens listened. Many did not. A creature with long golden horns snarled. "They always defend themselves with words of peace, but their history is war. In 10,000 years they will not change. Better to banish them now before they rise too far." The chamber roared with noise. Wings flapped. Tails slammed. Voices shouted for banishment. The high speaker raised his burning hands and silence fell. "The time has come," he said. "We will vote." A great sphere of light appeared above the hall. One by one, every representative cast their will into. So the votes shone like stars. Green for mercy, red for exile. Ambassador Carter and her people watched in silence as the sphere filled with color. At first, green lights blinked among the red. A few species still trusted Earth, but as the sphere grew brighter, the red began to dominate. The humans felt the weight of every decision pressing against them. Finally, the sphere turned crimson. "The speaker's voice thundered. The vote is complete. Earth is banished. Humanity is no longer welcome in the Council of Worlds." The chamber erupted in sound. Some aliens cheered loudly, their victory complete. Others whispered with unease, as if they feared the choice even as they made it. The humans stood very still. Ambassador Carter lowered her eyes for a moment. Then she looked up and a small smile touched her lips. The other humans with her, soldiers, scientists, explorers, did not shout, did not protest. They exchanged glances, quiet and steady. There was no begging, no tears. The speaker noticed and frowned. "Do you not understand? You are cast out. Your people are alone. You will have no trade, no protection, no aid." Ambassador Carter finally answered, her voice calm, almost gentle. "Then we will protect ourselves. We will aid ourselves. We will walk our own path." A murmur spread through the chamber. Some aliens tilted their heads, uneasy. Something in the way the humans spoke, something in their calm defiance, made even the oldest species feel a spark of fear. The guards moved closer, ready to escort the humans out. But still, the humans walked tall, their steps firm, their eyes bright. As they left the great hall, Ambassador Carter turned once more. Her words echoed across the chamber, chilling every heart. You banish us today. Remember this moment, for one day you may regret it. The doors closed behind them with a deep final sound. Inside, the council cheered their decision. Outside, humanity prepared to write a new chapter. They had been judged. They had been cast out, but they were not broken. And in the silence of exile, a seed of something far greater was planted. Humanity's choice, the human ship left the Galactic Council in silence. Outside the Great Hall, the stars stretched across the black of space, cold and endless. Humanity had been banished, cast out before every alien power in the galaxy. But back on Earth, the news was not met with fear. It was met with fire. The message arrived in every city, every colony, every station orbiting far above the planet. It spread like lightning. Earth has been exiled. The galaxy has turned its back on us. For a moment, there was shock. People stood in streets staring at screens. Workers in orbital stations stopped their tasks. Soldiers in deep bases listened in silence. And then, something unexpected happened. They did not weep. They did not beg. Instead, they felt pride. For generations, humans had argued, fought, and divided themselves. But this time, the galaxy itself had chosen to push them away. This time, they were not one country against another, not one tribe against another. They were all humanity, bound by a single truth. Alone, they must stand together. The gathering on Earth leaders from across the world gathered in New Geneva, a shining city rebuilt after old wars. The great hall there was smaller than the alien council chambers, but to the humans it was greater. For here they were not strangers. Here every voice was human. Ambassador Carter returned from the trial, and her report was short. They voted against us. They see us as a danger, and they are right. The hall filled with uneasy whispers. They will cut off trade. They will block our colonies. They will not share technology. But Carter raised her hand, calm and firm. Yes, they will deny us everything. But ask yourselves this. When has humanity ever waited for permission to grow? When has humanity ever survived because someone else protected us? The room went silent. She was right. Humanity's history was not one of comfort. It was one of struggle, war, discovery, and survival against odds no one thought possible. A general stood. His uniform was marked with old scars of battle. If the galaxy will not guide us, then we must guide ourselves. A scientist followed. Her eyes shone with excitement rather than fear. If they refuse to share knowledge, then we will make knowledge they cannot imagine. A miner from Mars rose, his hands rough with dust. If they try to cut us off, we will dig our own way through the stars. The universe is full of paths no alien dares to tread. We will go there. And so, the decision was made, building the human path. The galaxy expected humans to collapse without help. Instead, humanity grew stronger. On Earth, great factories roared to life, building starships not with alien design, but with human imagination. Ships were no longer clumsy copies of alien craft. They were faster, sharper, built to endure. On Mars, red dust storms covered the construction of massive domes. Beneath them, new cities rose, fueled by determination and the knowledge that no alien would save them. On the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, deep in frozen caverns, secret labs worked on strange technology the Council had banned. Where other species feared danger, humans saw opportunity. Everywhere, people repeated the same words. They cast us out, so we will make our own way. Silent years of work. The aliens thought Earth would fade. Instead, Earth became silent. No new ambassadors, no pleas for mercy. No ships arriving at alien ports. Humanity simply vanished from galactic trade. But silence is never empty. In that silence, humanity was working. Children were taught not only history, but the stars. Soldiers trained not for defense, but for survival in the farthest reaches of space. Engineers worked day and night, creating ships with engines no alien had seen before. Rumors began to drift into the galaxy. A lost mining vessel spoke of a strange ship crossing a dark nebula, moving faster than light should allow. Traders whispered of colonies in places thought impossible to survive. And always at the center of the whispers, one word returned: humans. The council dismissed these stories as lies, but fear began to take root. The spark of unity. Back on Earth, for the first time in thousands of years, there were no borders. There were no us and them. There was only we. Humanity, one species, one fate. Ambassador Carter stood before a massive crowd in New Geneva. Her voice carried across the world, broadcast to colonies in deep space. They banished us, because they fear what we may become. Let us show them they were right to fear. Not with destruction, not with war, but with strength so great that no banishment can break us. From this day forward, humanity is not a member of their galaxy. Humanity is a galaxy of its own. The crowd roared. Voices joined as one. The choice. The aliens thought banishment was punishment. They thought it would make humans weak, but humanity saw it differently. It was freedom. No more waiting for approval. No more rules that kept them behind. No more chains of alien law. For the first time, Earth was free to decide its own path among the stars. And though no alien could see it yet, this choice would change everything. Because in silence, behind walls of secrecy and unity, humanity was preparing for something the galaxy had never seen before. Not just survival, not just power, but destiny. The silent years after Earth was banished, the galaxy expected humanity to shrink into weakness. Many alien leaders thought humans would beg to return. Others believed Earth would destroy itself without guidance. But none of them saw what was really happening. Humanity did not beg. Humanity did not break. Humanity went quiet. And in that silence, they worked. The vanishing of Earth at first, the Council watched carefully. Alien patrols scanned the borders of human space. Traders searched for signs of weakness. But slowly, the noise of human life seemed to fade. No more human ships came to Council worlds. No more trade requests were sent. Even human messages, once so loud across the communication networks, grew rare. Earth had drawn back behind a wall of silence. Some aliens laughed. See? They are lost without us. Others felt uneasy. Silence is not always defeat. Sometimes silence is preparation. But no one dared to check too closely. Humans had been unpredictable before. Now they were unpredictable and hidden. Work in the shadows deep under the oceans of Earth. Great machines worked day and night. Factories carved into the seabed built Starship parts shielded from any spy satellites. On Mars, entire cities moved underground. Towers above the surface became decoys, while real labs stretched like mazes beneath the red dust. On Titan, Saturn's frozen moon, humanity built something stranger still. Energy plants that glowed with blue fire fueled by experiments the Council had forbidden for centuries. Where aliens feared the unknown, humans pressed forward, hungry for discovery. Everywhere the same rule was followed. Do not let the galaxy see what we are building. Rumors in the dark still. Rumors spread. A wandering trader swore he saw a fleet of human ships crossing a nebula where no map showed safe paths. He said they moved faster than any known engines could allow. A scout reported a human outpost at the edge of a black hole, harvesting energy from the very brink of destruction. The report was dismissed as madness, but the fear remained. One alien admiral whispered to another, "If these stories are true, then humans are no longer following the path of the Council. They are walking a path of their own." But no one could confirm. For every story that surfaced, humanity left no proof. The new generation, back on Earth, a new generation was growing. Children were no longer taught to see themselves as nations, divided by borders. They were taught to see themselves as humans, all part of the same story. History lessons ended not with wars, but with the day of exile. The galaxy cast us out, teacher said, so we must become strong enough to never need the galaxy again. These children grew with fire in their hearts. They dreamed of stars no alien had ever dared to reach. They learned skills their parents never had: how to survive in vacuum, how to build engines from scraps, how to fight with both machines and ideas. It was a generation raised not in fear of exile, but in pride of it. The Quiet Watchers. The galaxy did not ignore humanity completely. Small fleets passed near Earth's borders trying to spy, but they found nothing clear. Some saw broken old ships, drifting like ruins. Others saw empty stations, silent and cold. But behind those shadows, real power was hidden. Humans had learned something old. When the enemy thinks you are weak, let them believe it, until the moment they learn the truth too late. The pulse. And then, something happened that could not be hidden. In the 73rd year after exile, an energy pulse spread through space. It was faint, but it touched sensors across half the galaxy. Scientists in alien worlds panicked. The pulse was strange, unlike anything seen before. Some said it was a failed experiment. Others said it was a signal. But the truth was simple: a human test. A new kind of drive. Something that could fold space in ways forbidden by the Council. When asked, the Council demanded answers. Humanity gave none. They only sent a short message: do not enter our space. The silence that followed was more frightening than any threat. The weight of time decades passed. For other species, centuries felt like short steps. But for humans, every year was another chance to grow. The galaxy grew used to the silence. They comforted themselves by saying humans were still small. But deep inside they wondered, what had Earth become in these silent years? What kind of power were they shaping? Far from alien eyes? And when they finally returned to the galactic stage, would anyone be ready? The end of silence. In the last year of the silent era, something stirred. A lone alien patrol ship reported contact with a human vessel. It was sleek, dark, and carried no known markings. The alien captain sent a message, asking who they were, where they came from. The human answered politely, their voice calm, but their words chilled the entire crew. We are the children of exile, tell your council. We walk our own path now. Then, before the aliens could react, the ship vanished into faster-than-light speed. The silent years were over. Humanity was ready to be seen again, and the galaxy would soon discover the cost of underestimating Earth. First contact after exile for nearly a century, the galaxy had heard only rumors of humanity. Some believed Earth had collapsed in silence. Others whispered that humans were building something too dangerous to reveal. But no one knew the truth, until one quiet day, on the edge of the stars. A small alien patrol fleet drifted near the border of human space. It was a routine mission. 6 ships of the Vayari Guard, armed and proud, scanning for smugglers or pirates. The captain of the fleet, Admiral Serok, was calm. His people had fought many wars, and he did not fear humans. Exiled creatures, he told his crew, if they still exist at all. Then the sensors found something strange. A single vessel appeared ahead, dark against the stars. It was larger than a fighter, but smaller than a cruiser. Its shape was unfamiliar, smooth lines, sharp edges, glowing with faint blue energy. No record in the Council's database matched the design. The Admiral frowned. Identify that ship. But the system gave only one word: unknown. The encounter. Alien fleet moved closer. Weapons hummed to life. The strange ship did not run. It drifted calmly as if waiting. At last, a voice came through the comms. It was clear, steady, and unmistakably human. This is Captain Elias of the vessel Independence. You have entered the border of human space. State your purpose." The Admiral's spine stiffened. He had not heard a human voice in decades. It sounded stronger than he expected. "You," Sarok growled. "Humans were banished. You have no authority here. Surrender your vessel for inspection." There was a pause. Then Captain Elias replied, his tone polite but edged with iron. "No, we do not surrender, not anymore." The test of power. The Vayari ships moved in formation, surrounding the human craft. Their scanners tried to pierce its hull, but data came, back broken and confused. It was as if the ship was hiding in layers of shadow. The Admiral smirked. "You think a single ship can stand against 6 of mine?" But then, the Independence shifted. Its engines flared with a strange blue light, bending space around it. The alien ship's sensors screamed with errors. For a moment, the patrol fleet lost all readings. When the screens cleared, the human ship was no longer in the center, it was behind them. "Impossible," one officer whispered. Captain Elias's voice returned. Calm, cold. "Do not test us. We wish no war, but we will not be inspected. Not by you. Not by anyone." Fear in the fleet. The aliens prepared to fire, but their admiral hesitated. The human ship had moved faster than thought possible. Its weapons were hidden, its shields unreadable. Was this a single vessel, or was it a message? Sarok's instincts screamed at him, "Attack." But his fear whispered louder, "Retreat." The Vayari had been warriors for ages, but even warriors knew when. They faced something beyond them. Finally, the admiral gave the order. "Hold fire. Open a channel." The message, the alien fleet appeared calm. But inside every ship, crews trembled. They waited for what the humans would say. Captain Elias's voice was steady, as if he carried the weight of all humanity. "Tell your council this. We are not lost. We are not weak. In exile, we have grown. In silence, we have built. Humanity walks its own path now, and we do not seek your approval." The words cut through every channel, heavy as stone. "Remember this. We do not seek war, but if you come into our space again, you will see what exile has made of us." And then, before the Vayari could respond, the Independence vanished into blue light. It left no trail, no signature, only silence. The aftermath. The patrol fleet drifted, in stunned quiet. Some officers begged to chase. Others whispered that chasing would be suicide. Admiral Sarok stared at the empty stars. For the first time in his long career, he felt truly small. "Send the message to the council," he ordered. His voice shook. "Tell them humanity has returned." Echoes in the council. When the news reached the Galactic Council, chaos erupted. Some leaders laughed, calling it a lie. One ship cannot frighten the galaxy. But others, older and wiser, remembered the day of exile. They remembered the way humans had walked away without fear. Now it seemed that silence had been hiding something vast. If one ship of exile could outmaneuver 6 of the Guard, what might an entire fleet look like? No one wanted to speak it aloud, but the thought burned in every mind. What have the humans become? A new dawn back in human space, the Independence returned home. Captain Elias stepped from the bridge, his face calm. He knew the encounter had not been just a chance meeting. It had been the first step. For decades, humanity had prepared in silence. Now, the galaxy had seen a glimpse of their strength. The silent years were over. The age of humanity had begun. Fear. In the Galactic Council. The news of the encounter spread across the galaxy faster than light. A single human ship had faced 6 Vayari patrol vessels, and not only survived, it had outmaneuvered them without firing a shot. At first, many called it impossible. Others said the Vayari exaggerated, but the story could not be hidden. The council soon held an emergency meeting, and this time the chamber was filled with fear. The gathering of species, the great hall burned with light as leaders of hundreds of races took their seats. Their voices clashed in anger, confusion, and denial. "The humans cannot possess such ships. A scaled general shouted, his tail slamming the floor. "It is a trick." "Then explain the reports," hissed a being of smoke and ash. "Explain how 6 warships were humiliated by one vessel." The voices rose higher. Some demanded war at once. Others begged for caution, but all of them were united by one truth. The humans had returned and they were no longer weak. The weight of memory. Many in the chamber remembered the trial of exile. Nearly a century ago, they remembered the way humans had walked out without fear. At the time, the council had celebrated. "Good riddance," they said. "The threat is gone." Now those same leaders felt the chill of regret. "They warned us," whispered the high speaker, his glass-like body glowing faintly. "They told us the day would come when we might regret our choice." And now that day was near. Voices of fear. One delegate, her wings bright with gold, rose in panic. "If they have built such ships in silence, what else have they created? Weapons, armies, entire fleets?" A horned warlord snarled. "If they have fleets, we must strike now before they grow further. Crush Earth, burn their colonies, and end them while we still can." But a soft, trembling voice came from a smaller species. "And if we attack? What if we fail?" The hall fell silent. No one wanted to imagine it, but the thought was there. If a single ship could make a fleet retreat, what could an entire human navy do? The whisper of allies. Another fear spread quietly among the council. "What if others join them?" asked an elder with silver eyes. "Humans are exiled." But exile breeds sympathy. There are many who hate the council's rule. Rebels, outcasts, broken colonies. What if they see humans as their banner? The thought struck deep. Humanity was dangerous alone, but humanity leading an alliance of the forgotten, that could change everything. A divide in the council. The chamber split into 2 sides. One side, led by the Drath Empire and Veeri Guard, demanded a preemptive strike. Destroy Earth now, before it is too late. The other side, older species who had lived through many wars, shook their heads. Do not provoke them. If they wished war, they would have attacked already. They showed restraint. We must open talks, even if it humiliates us. Back and forth the arguments flew, louder and louder, until the hall itself shook with the sound of alien rage. The shadow of regret. At last, the high speaker lifted his burning hands. The chamber quieted, though the fear remained heavy. "Perhaps we made a mistake," he said slowly. "Perhaps banishing Earth was not wisdom but folly. We forced them into silence, and in silence they became strong." No one dared answer, because deep inside many knew it was true. The Admiral's testimony, then Admiral Sarok, the Veeri commander who had faced the human ship, stepped forward. His armor was scarred, his voice grim. "I saw them with my own eyes," he said. "This was no trick. Their engines bent space itself. Their movements were beyond our charts. And their captain, he did not speak like prey. He spoke like someone holding back a blade." The chamber shivered at his words. "If that was only one ship," Sarok continued, "then I fear what a fleet will look like." The silent decision the council argued for hours, but no resolution came. Too many were divided. Too many were afraid. In the end, no war was declared. No peace was offered either. Instead, the council chose the path of fear. They would wait. Watch. Hope the humans did not rise too far, but waiting has its cost. Because while the council hesitated, humanity was moving forward, stronger every day. The final whisper as the chamber emptied. One elder leaned toward another, his voice low and heavy. "We banished them because we feared their potential. And now, that potential has become reality. The galaxy does not control humanity anymore. Humanity controls itself." The elders' eyes glowed dimly. "And when the time comes, perhaps they will control us all." Humanity's new path. The galaxy hesitated, but humanity did not. While the council argued in fear, Earth and its colonies moved forward, step by step, building, Something new, something no alien had imagined. Humanity was no longer just a single world. Humanity had become a network, a chain of steel and fire stretched across the stars. This was not the end of exile. It was the beginning of a new path, unity of worlds. The first great change came when Mars declared its oath to Earth. Once, the red planet had struggled for independence, often clashing with Earth's governments. But after the exile, Mars understood. Without unity, they would all fall. In a speech broadcast across every dome and station, the Martian chancellor spoke. Once we looked to Earth as rivals. Today, we look to Earth as kin. We were cast out. Together. We will rise together. From that moment, the Martian fleets wore the same banner as Earth. Not the flag of nations, but the banner of humanity. Soon after, Titan's frozen colonies swore allegiance, then the mines of Ceres, then the orbital cities of Jupiter. Each settlement, once proud and divided, bent toward unity, not because they were forced, but because they chose it. For the first time in history, humanity stood as one, the human banner with unity came a symbol. A new flag was raised above Earth and its colonies, a star breaking free from chains, shining brighter than all others. It was simple, but powerful. Every human carried it with pride. Children wore it on their jackets, soldiers painted it on their armor, ships carved it into their hulls. The galaxy had taken away their place in the council, but humanity had built something greater, their own council, their own destiny, their own banner that no alien could strip away. The expansion with unity, humanity expanded like wildfire. New ships faster than ever crossed dangerous sectors of space. Colonies were planted on barren rocks where no alien dared to build. Starbases were constructed in the hearts of nebulae, glowing like fireflies in the dark. Everywhere the council had forbidden, humans went. Black holes, pulsars, dead systems filled with radiation. To humans, these were not warnings. They were challenges. And wherever they went, they did not just survive, they thrived. The forbidden science. The council had long banned certain fields of research, calling them too dangerous, too unstable. Humanity did not care. On Titan, scientists split, particles in ways no alien dared. In the void beyond Pluto, vast rings spun, harnessing energy from quantum storms. Deep beneath Earth's oceans, hidden reactors hummed with power that could bend space itself. The galaxy whispered of these experiments, terrified. But humans pressed forward. For them, danger was not a reason to stop. It was a reason to try harder. The human fleet in the silence of space, shipyards birthed a new kind of navy, not the clumsy cruisers of the past, but vessels built with human hands and human ideas. The first was called Exodus. It was not the largest ship in the galaxy, but it carried weapons no alien could recognize. Then came the Unity, the Defiance, and the Pathfinder. Each ship was sleek, fast, wrapped in strange shields that bent light. Together they formed the human fleet, a force not built for conquest, but for survival. Yet every alien who heard the names knew one truth. If war came, this fleet would not lose easily. The philosophy of exile. While the Council saw humanity as dangerous, humans saw exile as freedom, no longer chained by alien laws, no longer slowed by endless debates. They were free to dream, to build, to reach without limit. A new philosophy spread among humans. Exile is not shame. Exile is strength. It was taught in schools, written on monuments, whispered in every colony. Children grew up not fearing the council, but pitying it. They trapped themselves in fear, teachers said. We walk in freedom. The oath of humanity on. The 100th year after exile, leaders of every human colony gathered on Earth. They met not in secret halls but on the open fields beneath the stars. Millions watched, standing shoulder to shoulder. The leaders raised their hands and spoke the oath of humanity. We were cast out, but we did not fall. We were divided, but now we are one. We will not seek conquest, but neither will we bow. We are humanity, and we choose our own path. The words echoed across the planet, through the colonies, and out into the void. It was not just a promise. It was a declaration. The galaxy had banished Earth, but Earth had risen as something greater. The shadow. Over the council, back in the council, alien leaders watched these changes with dread. Reports came of new colonies, new ships, new technologies, and though the council still debated, they all felt the same unease. For every year that passed, humanity grew stronger. For every step the council delayed, humanity took 10 forward. The galaxy had wanted to control Earth. Instead, they had created something uncontrollable. And now, whispers spread in every chamber, in every meeting, in every shadowed hall. If this is what they became in exile, what will they become when they return? The final message: 100 years had passed since Earth's exile. 100 years of silence, growth, and unity. Humanity was no longer the frightened, divided species that had stood in the council's chamber. They had become something else. And, now at last, the galaxy would hear their voice again. The arrival it began with a shimmer at the edge of council space. A single human ship appeared, larger than anything ever seen from Earth before. Its hull glowed faintly with blue light. Its engines bent space itself. The vessel moved not like a warship, but like a messenger. The aliens panicked. Fleets scrambled to intercept, weapons armed, defenses raised. But the ship did not fire. It simply moved forward, calm and unstoppable. When it reached the orbit of the Council's homeworld, it halted. A signal pulsed across every channel in every language. This is humanity. The voice was deep, clear, unshaken, and it silenced the galaxy. The gathering of the council assembled in fear. Leaders of hundreds of species filled the great chamber. Their eyes turned upward, where the human message flickered across the walls. The image of a human stood tall. Not a soldier, not a conqueror, but a representative dressed in simple black with the star-breaking chain symbol on their chest. They spoke with calm certainty. The final message. Many years ago, the human voice began. You judged us. You called us dangerous, reckless, unworthy of your counsel. You voted to cast us out. The chamber was silent. None dared interrupt. You thought exile would break us, but it made us strong. You thought silence would weaken us, but it made us united. You thought banishment was punishment, but it was freedom. The human leaned closer, their eyes burning with steady fire. We are not here to beg for return. We are not here to kneel for mercy. We are here to tell you this: humanity has chosen its own path. We will walk it with or without you. The warning, the voice grew colder. We do not seek war. We will not strike unless struck. But if you come into our space with weapons, if you try to chain us again, remember this: we did not beg when you banished us, and we will not beg if you return. The words carried weight heavier than any fleet. They were not a threat. They were a promise. Reactions in the chamber. The council erupted. Some species cried for immediate war. Others begged for peace. The oldest among them sat in silence, their eyes heavy with regret. They are not the same humans we exiled, whispered one elder. They are something greater, something we cannot control. For the first time, the galaxy realized that humanity was not an outcast anymore. They were a power equal, or perhaps greater, than the council itself. The choice of humanity. Back aboard their ship, the human envoy watched the chaos unfold. Calm, unshaken, they spoke one last line before cutting the signal. Decide for yourselves what you will do, but know this: the age of humanity has begun, and no vote can change it. Then the ship turned, engines flaring, and vanished into folded space. It left no trail, only silence. The fear that remained for days, the council argued. Should they send fleets? Should they sue for peace? Should they ignore the message? But no decision was reached. Fear divided them, fear silenced them, fear bound them in endless debate. And all the while, humanity moved forward, no longer waiting, no longer asking. The legacy of exile on Earth, in the colonies, in the deep stations near black holes, humanity watched the stars. Children learned the story of exile as their greatest legend, not a tale of shame, but of victory. They banished us, teachers told their students, and so we found freedom. Ships carried the human banner farther than ever, past the edge of known maps into the uncharted dark. Humanity was no longer following the galaxy. Humanity was leading itself. The closing thought, and in the great silence of space, every alien who had voted for exile remembered that moment in the chamber, 100 years ago, when humans had walked away smiling. They remembered Ambassador Carter's last words. One day you may regret this. That day had come, because now the galaxy did not judge humanity. The galaxy feared humanity. And deep in their hearts, they knew the truth. Exile had not ended Earth's story. Exile had written the first chapter of something far greater. The age of humanity had only just begun.